Okay, so I think we're gonna get started now. Um, so basically, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to okay, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I'm gonna make a Flask app, and what Flask is it's a Python web app framework that allows you to do cool things on the web with Python. So what I'm gonna do is create an app so you can log your days in quarantine on this app, and then it'll just display a timeline. So let's just jump right into it. I'm super excited today because I have something very special. I have a um, uh, I have a whiteboard. That's the coding whiteboard, and it's gonna be very cool. So, uh, yeah, we're gonna use the coding whiteboard here in a second. Um, so yeah, we're just gonna jump into the code here. So to make a Flask app, or first things first, uh, I'm going to go into my developer directory, and in here I'm going to a uh, make a directory, and we'll call it uh, quarantine quarantine calendar. And then we're going to cd, we're going to change into that directory. Okay, so now that we're in the quarantine calendar directory, we're going to make a virtual environment. So I can't remember completely how to do this in Python. But so basically what this virtual environment's going to do is it's going to allow us to basically put dependencies in it without put dependencies in our directory without worrying about it affecting our global environment. That's a really bad explanation, but yeah. So we're going to call that environment env. So that is going to create the virtual environment. It might take a little bit. Okay, now we have an environment what's it called? Directory. So if we say dot active or environment slash bin slash activate, what this will do is it will activate the virtual environment, and we see that we have a virtual environment indicator here that's telling us anything we do, it will be in the virtual environment. So we don't have to worry about this bleeding over into other projects. So we're going to go in here and we're going to say pip3 install Flask. Oh, that's not how you spell that. We're going to say Flask. And so what this does is it installs Flask. And we're also going to need Flask SQL Alchemy. So yeah, SQL Alchemy is a database structure that we're going to use. It's pretty simple. It uses SQLite. So SQLite is just a very easy database to understand. So what we're going to do now is we're going to open, or we're going to make a new file, and we're going to call it app.py. And then we're going to open that in Visual Studio Code. So we're going to run the code dot command. So this might take a little bit to load. Okay, here we are in our VS Code. So we're going to open the app.py directory and file, sorry. Let's scale up the text a little bit. Okay. We're gonna say from. Oh my gosh. Okay. From Flask import Flask. So this seems like a very redundant line, but it makes sense. Trust me. So we're gonna say app equals Flask. Then we're gonna pass it main. So basically what this does is it just activates our Flask app. And then I think if we just say app.run, it should work. So if we go back to the terminal and we say Flask Flask run, I think it'll work. Main is not defined. So main is not defined. That is a weird error because it should be working fine. Let's just I'm gonna do a quick Google search. Oh, I think I know what it is. I should have done. And actually what we're going to do is we're going to open this up, and this is just going to be essentially our terminal. So we can close out of there, and we can say we can do that. So that activates our virtual environment. So this should be name, not main. So we're just going to edit that really quick. And oopsies. Then we're going to say Flask run. Okay, so now Flask is running on localhost. So that is good. So if we go to localhost on port 5000, it says URL not found, but that is because we never told Flask to do anything. So we're gonna say at app.route. So we're gonna route the slash It's not really a. It's a yeah. We're gonna route the root. The root route. That's hard to say. Is going to be our home. This is gonna be like our home page. So I believe we can just say render hello world, and this should work. Oh, you know what I need to do? I need to go in here. I need to say export, or I can just run it again. Oh, I'm thinking in terms of Ruby. In Python, you have to surround your functions in parentheses, which yeah. So if we go back to Chrome, okay. So we get an error. Render is not defined. I must. Let's do a quick Google search. Flask render template. Just render text. Can we just say text? Okay, let's just do render template. So we have to import that up here. So we're importing Flask, which is the method that makes our Flask app, and now we're going to import render template, and then let's just say render template index.html, and then in here we're going to stop the server, and we're going to make an index.html file. So now once we have this HTML file, if I can do that, we're going to go in here and we're just going to say hello world. And then if we go into our terminal and we run flask run, it should render hello world. Oh, wrong site. Okay, and it doesn't, of course. Render template. Oh, okay, this is stupid. Flask render template. Okay. Oh yeah, we should do this too. This will allow us to debug easier if we set this environment variable to development. Now we can just run the Flask server, and it'll just debug like passively, or it will passively allow us to save changes, and we won't have to rerun the server. Okay. I'm not too sure. Aha, I know what it is. So we need to make a new directory, and we're going to call it templates. So what Flask does is it looks for, oh sorry, that's a file. What Flask does is it looks for a templates directory. Oh my gosh, I can't hit that button to save my life. But yeah, it automatically looks for this templates directory, and then that's what allows it to read these files. So yeah, we're gonna go back into our Chrome, then Oh. Oh, we have to return that. I'm sorry. Now this should work. Yep, hello world. Sweet. So, what do we have so far? We have a home directory, and that renders this HTML. And what's in this HTML so far is just hello world. But we can do something way more interesting. So in index.html, let's just do that, and that should give us a nice HTML skeleton. So in the title, we're just gonna make it, let's call it quarantine. That's not how you spell it. Quarantine calendar. So in quarantine calendar, we're gonna need a couple things. We're going to need, well, we should probably start doing the back end first. Actually, that would be wise. So we're gonna make a new route, and it's gonna be /new, and in that new, it's gonna be a post method. So we're gonna say methods equals post. What a post method does is it essentially takes data from the user, and a get, this would be a get method, but it is implied like the method is by default get, but we can do a post method like this. So we're gonna post some data to our server, and what we're gonna call this, we're gonna call it new post, and this is gonna be a method. And what new post is gonna do is it's going to take the arguments from a form that we're gonna make, and it's going to make it into a new database object. But for now, we can just make it into a normal object and store it in a local variable. Let's just call it fake DB for fake database, and we're gonna make that equal to an empty array. So we're gonna say fake DB dot append, and then this is gonna be our new object. So basically we just need some content to go in there, because the database side of things is going to handle putting it into a date, so that the database is going to automatically add a date to it. But for now, this will be good. I can't remember Flask receive form. I can't remember how to get the form data from Flask. Okay, it's request.form, but we have to import request up here. So we're going to say content equals request.form the content of that form. So yeah, in theory this should work. Well, actually we need to go into here, into our index.html, and we're gonna make a form. And in this form we are going to have I can't fully remember how to do a form in HTML. Oh, you say action. Okay. So form, and the action is gonna be /new, and what's gonna go in here is going to be so we're gonna have an input field essentially, and that's just gonna be it. And in this input, it's gonna be a type of. Is there a way to make an input like a big? Oh, it's a text area. You learn something new every day. So this text area is going to let's see what this does. Yeah, so this is what I want. I want a text area. And we're gonna put nothing in it. And we're gonna say name equals content. And then we're gonna have a button. And then, it's gonna be type of submit. And then we're just gonna say submit day. So what this is gonna do is this is a strange bug. Expected. I don't even know what that means. I'll just look it up. You say your source code was reached before. That is strange. Methods equals post. Let's say let's close some of these tabs. Okay. Yeah, that's how it's done here. Am I just going crazy or what? Do I need to return something? I bet I do. I bet I have to return like yeah, I bet this will work. Yep, okay. So I think what was happening there was it wouldn't allow me to essentially have that code like that because there was no return type for the method or for the function following it. So what do we do now? So let's just see if this works. Let's just say like has been a wonderful day. We're going to say submit. Method not allowed. Interesting. Wonder what that's all about. it should, yeah, so we have content right here. Let's just say like print so we're just gonna print out that content. Let's try that again. Then let's go to here. Oh, I see what's happening. So this route isn't even being hit. Do we need to say method equals post? I think this might do it. Submit. Awesome, it looks like it worked. Yeah, so it has the content. So now let's find a good way. So we're gonna return that that content, and we're gonna return that array. What are we gonna do? So, in here, when we render a template, Flask has a nice templating solution. So we could say posts equals fake db, and when we're in here, we can do a for loop and iterate over all the attributes or all the objects in that array. So we will do the for loop. Okay, if my cursor won't stop freaking out, I'm gonna go here, and this is really strange syntax. It's for post and posts. Then we can put whatever we want in this for loop, and then we can just say, if I can, what the heck is wrong with me? And then we're gonna say end for. So we're gonna end that for loop. Oh my gosh, I'm a mess. Okay. So we're gonna end that for loop, and then inside of here, we just want to put some stuff. So let's have an h1, or let's just have some paragraph tags, and this is how you define what's actually going to be in there. So we're going to say post, yeah, we're just going to say that. And this should, in theory, be good. Actually, we need to, instead of rendering, sorry, we're going to say redirect URL for or we can just say redirect to slash. We don't need URL for. So up here we're gonna say redirect, so we need that the redirect method. And yeah, so let's say this is cool. Submit. This is stupid. Submit. So we basically got most of the functionality, except if we restarted the server at this point, it would erase all the data because we're just storing it in so we're basically just storing it in this session. So let's see that in action. So if we do that and then do Flask run, it should wipe, yeah, it should wipe databases a lot easier. So let's look into that. So in here we're gonna say SQL Alchemy Flask. I cannot remember how to set up everything. So quick start, cool. So we need to say, let's just copy this line of code, and yeah, this will be our database. So what this is doing is it's creating our database, and it's setting the app config to yeah, it's setting the app config to basically this. So I believe if we do that and we make a database directory, and maybe we call it like main DB. So if we go in here and we make a database directory, it's going to have nothing in it, but when we call this, it's going to create it, and then we can start doing some cool stuff. So now we need to say the database equals, what did it say? SQL Alchemy. Well, it's probably a good idea to import this too. So we're going to import it, and we're going to go up here, we're going to import it. So once we've imported it, we can call SQL Alchemy, and then we're just going to pass it the app. And down here we're going to have some models. So to define a model, all we have to do is say class. So we're going to make a post model, and that's going to inherit from db.model. So what we do next is we start defining the columns in the database. So you always want to have an ID column. That's generally good practice. So we're gonna have an ID. We're just gonna copy some of this straight from this because it's very similar to what we want. So we're gonna copy the username. So what this is doing is it's defining a column, and we actually want to say, instead of string, we want to say .text. Well, actually I think string would work fine, but we don't want it to be unique. So we're just gonna get rid of that. Oh, did not mean to do that. So this will define another column, and as mentioned before, we're gonna need a column for when this post was created, so we can properly sort them and display that date in chronological order. So how we're gonna do that is we're going to see how the SQL Alchemy Flask created at. Seeing if there's a good way. I don't think this will have it. Yeah, we're gonna need to find something else. I cannot seem to find how to do this. So I know there's for sure a way. Oh, date time. So what this is doing, publish date. So we want to say that. We want to say publish date is oh, so this is a nice way to do it. So I guess date time is just a built-in Python thing. I was not aware of this. Yeah, so date time, is that what it, nope, one word. Import date time, or from date time, import date time. Seems kind of redundant, but that's typically how things are around here. And we're gonna say, I like to just say publish date. I don't know, seems like better and more recognizable. So we're gonna say it equals a database column. It's gonna be a database date time. What else do we need? It cannot be nullable. If I can spell. And default. So this will define a default value. So datetime dot now UTC now. So now when we create a post, we should be able to we should be able to see when it was created if we did this correctly, which, you know, I doubt. Anyway, so let's test this out. So how we create, or actually we don't want this to be called username, we want it to be called content. So essentially when we create a post, all we're gonna do is define its content. So in the new post thingy, whatever it's called. Oh yeah, and by the way, we need to call db.createAll. So this will create all the tables nicely. So in new post, we want to add post equals a post, and its content is going to equal content. Actually, let's just say that the content is equal to this. That'll just make the code a little bit more precise, or concise, my bad. We don't need to do that anymore. We don't need to do that anymore. And what we need to do is say db.session.add. So we're going to add the post to this session, and then we're going to say db.session.commit. So that's going to commit whatever we added to the database. And then it's going to redirect us to the root, and we want to say that posts equals db.query, or I think we can say post.query .all maybe, and then and here we want to say post.content. Okay, we have some errors. Errors are a good thing. Invalid syntax. I think it just didn't update correctly. db.createAll. Simple typo. Now we should be in business, perhaps. SQL Alchemy has no date time. Oh, capital T. Yeah, so if we replace this, it looks like we're getting another error, maybe. Oopsie, nope. Nope, I think that's good. No such table post. Maybe I'm just querying wrong. Can we see? Flask SQL alchemy query. Okay. Insert delete. Yeah, this is what we want. Maybe we need to define this class up here. I don't know. Would that work? Ah, yes. Here we go. Or let's say yes. Now, if we restart the server, and by the way, we have looks like we've created this database, but Visual Studio Code doesn't really know how to display that. So if we run Flask, we see that it is indeed still stored here. So we are almost done. The only thing I want to add is I want to add the date at the top. So like Monday, April, whatever it is today. Monday, yeah. And then I think we're in business. Okay. So to do this, I think we should just make a header tag right here above it. An H1 might be a little big, but we'll see. And we just want to say post dot publish date. Right? Yeah, publish date. Oh, that is ugly. So I'm not really sure if we can I bet date time yeah, hopefully I can just use the dot date method. I don't think this will work, but we'll see. Can we display that other ways? Are there like parameters that we can pass? Python date time format. Okay. Date time, time delta. These don't look super useful. Can we format it differently? Day, month, year. That looks promising. So, can we do that? Can we, come on, can it not display as a it would be nice if it could say what day it was. Like as words. Aha. Is this what we want? I think this will work. In theory. Oh, that is not what we want. That looks horrible. So let's undo that. Python date time as words. This is unbelievably painful. Okay, this looks like what we want. Can we just do string from time? Stir f that doesn't look nice. Aha, we need to pass it what the format is. Now, hooray! Monday the 6th of April, 2020. And then it records what happened on that day. What we could do is we could allow you to only post on one certain day. Like, you can only post once a day, so that you can't just spam like a bunch of stuff, because that's boring, because then it's just a bunch in one day. I think that'll be pretty easy to implement. So I think if we can just if we just say if we just say in our new method down here, if we say if you if UTC now dot date and this is a really stupid way of doing it, but I think it'll work. So for post and we're gonna query through all the posts. We're gonna do this first though. So we're just gonna put this under here. And we're just gonna call this new post. Or actually, no, we don't wanna. So for posts, I cannot think straight. Yeah, so we're going through all the posts, and we're gonna say if post dot publish date dot date is equal to UTC now dot date, then we're going to return a redirect to the root. Invalid syntax. Okay, yeah. UTC now is not defined. UTC now. Is it like that? But I imported it. Oh, it's date time. Yay, it worked. So now we are no longer allowed to post. Oh, that's funny. We're no longer allowed to post more than once a day. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this coding challenge. It was a lot of fun. I hope everyone stays safe and is having a good quarantine time. So, yeah, that's about all for me. Yeah, see you guys later.